Alright, it's good to be back. I've recently just finished watching the Cobra Kai series finale. In the video, I'm going to be talking about the finale, the whole series. I will rate it, and I will be ranking all 6 seasons from my least favorite to my most favorite. Now, in this video, there's going to be spoilers, man. I gotta talk about the spoilers, and I'm guessing if you're watching a finale review, you've seen it too. And if you've never seen Cobra Kai before, I recommend it. Go check it out. Now, let's talk about the finale, man. Let's just get straight to it. How many shows have you seen that are great and that are consistently at least good, and then they just drop the ball at the series finale? I'm so happy this show did not do that. This show's ending did not disappoint. It closed off anything that was left open from the previous seasons, and it leaves the hero of the story, Johnny Lawrence, in the most satisfying place as a viewer. You know, after all the crap he's been through, this is his happy ending, and I'm so happy we got to see that. It's just such a satisfying ending, and it wasn't just for him. The writing did a great job at closing everything for everyone else, for Kreese, for Silver, and of course for Daniel and the kids, Miguel, Robbie. Man, it's just so much to talk about. But this last part of season 6 carries season 6, in my opinion. Other than maybe 2 episodes from the last parts, season 6 was good, but not as good as before. And this last part just lifts it to another level. William Zabka, who plays Johnny Lawrence, just brings in like Emmy-worthy performance. I'm not even kidding, man. If you haven't seen the episodes, you're like, what? Like, William Zabka brings Emmy-worthy performance? Nah. He does, man. He does. He brings it in, and it's especially in episode 13 and on. He clocks in like never before. Like, he knows, like, this is his final episodes of his show. This was not Daniel's show, even though he was a great part of it. This is Johnny's show. And I love that Cobra Kai, that the writers had the sensibility to give Johnny the highlight, to give him that spotlight. It was very well done. The way they wrapped up the tournament, I loved it. I loved how there was messages in there for fighting, in the sense of fighting where it's okay to not fight. That's a point of learning how to, to avoid it. Sometimes the best fight is just to not even be there or to not want to fight. And the way that they mixed that into Sam's arc and Robbie's arc, man, I love the way they ended Robbie's arc. That scene where he's in the locker and it's just him and Johnny, and it stays there. The camera just stays there and just lets you, it doesn't do anything fancy. It just lets you breathe in and just be there in the moment, be there in the performance. And in Robbie's final character moment, amazing character moment, where he's been through so much. I'm happy that it ended this way, because it's a perspective of life thing, right? Where so much crap has been thrown his way, but he's just so appreciative for what he's gained throughout this journey. He's lost so much prior to the show, including relationships with his dad, not having the best friends or any great friends, not having the best mom there. This guy was by himself as a kid. And then to see him and the writing just give him that moment of, I didn't win on the mat, but I won in life. That was good, man. It touched my heart, to be honest with you. It's very well done. And then, of course, on the counterpart, there was William acting as Johnny and just receiving that really, really well. They did really good in that performance. And the fights were great. Never for me past season 2's finale or season 4's tournament, but it was up there with that. You know what I'm saying? But it was still really, really good. The emotion was always there, and the plot twist was really well written, continuously, from Robbie getting injured to Miguel changing over to Cobra Kai and also Sensei Lawrence. And then, Miguel taking on Drago, I mean, what was that kid's name? Axel. Miguel taking on Axel. And then, of course, we got Johnny at the last episode, the sensei fight. Man, leading up to the last episode, we have a collection of characters that are getting ready to transition to the next point of their life, whether it be Sam, Miguel, Dimitri, Hawk. And we have a really nice wrap up of prioritizing friendship with Hawk and Dimitri, valuing that because they lost it throughout the series. So now to finally have that and, just sticking with each other, it was good. It was sweet. And I wish for them, more specifically Hawk, he would have gotten more oomph. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy beat Robbie in a tournament. Why has, in season 6, why has he been so sidelined? That was for me one of the weaker parts. It seems like Hawk got dropped down to Dimitri's level. Dimitri never went up to Hawk's, if that makes sense. But I love the performances, and Hawk has been one of my favorite characters. I do love the way they wrap that up. I love how Sam wants to go back to Okinawa to learn more about what was that guy's name? Miyagi? I'm just kidding. And I really love how Miguel got accepted. It's just to Stanford. And it's just such a great, like, happy ending for everyone, or for most people, In episode 14, we have that final fight between Chris and Silver. And for all the silliness and, those shots where you could tell, like, I mean, I don't know how old Silver's and Chris's actors are, but there are moments where the camera will, like, cut to, like, the back of them, and you could tell it's just, like, a way younger man, like, playing them, and then it'll cut to them, like, face front. And I was like, it's the last 2 episodes. I'll give it a pass. You know what I'm saying? The ending to the story is wrapped up well, and I think one of the more beautiful parts of the finale and one of the more beautiful parts of the whole series, and in many series that I've seen, I don't know, it's a scene that's really gonna stick with me. I was feeling really emotional watching it, to be honest with you. That scene where Johnny confronts Kreese about everything. It's in episode 13, season 6. It's one of those scenes where it's hard to believe that this is written because it's just such human dialogue, and it's an amazing, amazing, exceptional performance by both actors. But this might have been his best performance yet, these last 3 episodes, for William Zabka, who plays Johnny Lawrence. Just letting it all out on the table. Him telling him, that he idolized him, and basically telling Kreese, you were a father figure to me, and you just broke me, man. Like, your reaction wasn't necessarily losing that hurt me. It was your reaction to it. And then, of course, it's just, man. Yeah, man, it's just such a great moment, and it will get me a bit emotional, like, just thinking about it and maybe talking about it, because I think it's very beautiful. I think in many ways it's very pure, because that moment is the redemption, or at least a very significant part and needed thing, right? What messed up Johnny wasn't the losses that he had with Daniel. That never messed Johnny up. What messed him up was not having a great home. He was a kid with no father figure, and the father figure that he thought he had just left him. As he says in the episode, he just left. He felt like he got left like trash, and it's all due to Grease's baggage that he just carried with him and left on Johnny's feet. It's a beautiful scene. And then in the end, those little things where, he tries to grab Johnny and Johnny just slaps his hand away, and then he accepts his hug, and Kreese delivers his apology. That's cinema. That's one of those things where if you just capture the whole show into one scene, anybody would want to watch it, because it's just such a masterpiece of a scene, and it's very human more than anything, and it felt so authentic. I've said it before, cinema and TV shows, they get celebrated for authenticity. And I don't know what William Zabka had to tap into to perform that, but wow. It just really felt real. And it felt like a conversation that would happen in real life. So just amazing, man. That was amazing. Wow. And then, of course, the talk he has with his mom is amazing. The contrast, great finale. We have a nice, sweet moment between Daniel and Sam that just shows off really great acting performances from both. Also, did you guys know that Sam is like 30 or something? That's just crazy. And apparently she's marrying Robbie, I think. Yeah. Overall, this finale is more than satisfying. I love the fights, but more than that, I love the character moments. They gave Johnny his big farewell, have great writing, great comedy throughout it, and it continues, yes, with that 80s, maybe cheesiness, but with nowadays problems, nowadays conversations, and real authentic moments. The finale for me was great. Loved it. You guys should go check it out if you haven't. Now, it's very rare for me to stick with the show for this many seasons. If you were to tell me from the beginning, Cobra Kai is going to have 6 seasons, I probably wouldn't have had started it. But this was one that I stuck with. As the seasons came out, I watched them. They were very entertaining, and they're like the amazing example of how to bring back old nostalgia things, old nostalgia characters, media, movies, things like this, how to treat them well, how to not disrespect the fans, the characters, the story. This is a great example of that. And more than anything, this show very much surprised me. I went into it not thinking much. I think I watched it in YouTube Red when it came out. Wow, was I surprised. And wow, did I love the relationship between Miguel and Johnny. I think that's what really makes a show. Here's this kid without a father, and here's this father with an estranged son. And he's coming to a point in his life where he's lost so much, where he's down in the dumps, where nothing is going right for him. And then here comes this kid who's innocent, who's full of hope, who's full of energy and perspective of life, that when an opportunity comes up to help this kid out, maybe something as simple as, teaching him karate. Johnny says, "Yeah, I'll be your sensei." And from then on, man, we have an amazing show, an amazing father-son relationship between them two. Of course, with Robbie as well. And, we have amazing scenes between them. Like in season 2, where one of my favorite scenes in the whole series is Johnny speaking to Miguel about what happened after Robbie was born. And I believe they're talking in the restaurant, and it's just really good acting. And it was in that moment where I was like, I think the actor for Johnny is the best one of this show. I might be wrong. And I still think that, especially after watching the season 6 finale. But what really grabs you about their relationship is the heart behind it. That mentorship relationship where when Miguel is trying to find himself, or when Miguel is having a problem, he'll go over to Johnny, and Johnny will give him a hilarious response, but also one of those things where it's like, I've made so many mistakes in life, I'm gonna tell you this so that way you don't do what I do. And Miguel learns from that, and Johnny's learning from that. Great relationship. I love the actors that portrayed him. It's really the foundation of the show. Miguel representing that new opportunity in life for Johnny. Like, okay, I could be a sensei that I never had, sort of thing. And then, of course, we have this relationship with Daniel where, they start off as mortal enemies, just hating each other, hating each other's guts. And in a little sense, Johnny does blame him for a lot of things. And Daniel, then, in a mixture of seasons worth of misunderstandings, they just get at each other's necks, man. And I think that's a part of the show that got really repetitive. This was one of those plot lines that just continued and continued and continued, and we didn't get a different conclusion. Many different formulas, but same conclusion, where they kept on fighting. And I believe it was until season 5 where they finally okay, we're gonna stop fighting and we're gonna be senseis together. Yeah, but why'd you have to wait 5 seasons to do that? You know what I'm saying? Overall, I really like Daniel's character. I think he was a really important addition to the show. Man, this is my comfort show. This is a show I can just rewatch over and over and over because it's just that good. It's very inviting. It's comedic. It's very, maybe not the most family friendly, but it's up there. I would say it's mainly just language that keeps you from being completely family friendly, and the violence. But at the end of the day, I can confidently say that this story wrapped up happily and greatly. Man, I'm just so happy that it happened this way, because the characters deserved it, the writers deserved it, the showrunners just started off this project that ended up being great, consistently great. My gripes with the show come from the repeated plot lines, from the teen drama, from episodes and plots that did not seem important. A lot of the Kreese and senseis from Japan stuff was not needed. A lot of the Daniel and Johnny stuff, repeatedly fighting and bickering and it getting annoying, was not needed. The teen drama stuff felt overused and took up time that I feel didn't need to be taken up. But the show does it in a way where almost everyone's actions is understandable. You see where they're coming from. And a lot of it is misunderstandings, but a lot of it is justified reactions from the characters. And if you've gotten this far and you have never seen Cobra Kai, I'll tell you this, man. I think one of the reasons this show is great is how relatable the protagonist is. He starts off in the dumps, in the bottom of the bottom. That doesn't necessarily mean financially, even though he was not in his best position. It just means in life, where it's like you get to a point and you just feel like you've been beat to a pulp. You know, like life's just throwing all these punches, and even though you might know karate, you just can't fight back. And it's a beautiful story of how someone who's in that position, which at times is many of us in different parts of our lives, comes back from that, who continues to push and persevere and just keep moving forward like a bull. That's really what's the heart of it, man. Where you see someone like this get the win after 6 seasons, so satisfying. And I think that's what makes this show so good, where these characters consistently get beat up, but they get back up, man. They get back up. And Johnny's he's one of my favorite characters ever written. I think because I've seen him in many people. I've seen his reactions in many people. And I just love that character and how they handled him. They did so well. This show is a very strong A- for me. Let's get to the season rankings. I'm talking a lot. Man, oh my gosh. I'm looking at the time. It says 30 minutes. This might be edited to be shorter, but wow. Okay.